hopefully.
We'll call this meeting to order. This is Morgantown City Council regular meeting on Tuesday, August 12th. The time is 7 p.m. and we are in City Hall Council Chambers at 389 Spruce Street. Oh, we did not do the pledge first. Sorry about that. We will just call the roll.
Joe McGon.
Present.
Jody Thompson. Here.
Weezy Michael.
Here.
Jenny Celine. Mark Downs.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Butcher.
Here.
Mayor Trumbull.
Here. Thank you. The first item on our agenda is approval of minutes. We have the July 22nd, 2025 special meeting minutes, July 22nd, 2025 regular meeting minutes, July 29th, 2025 special meeting minutes, and July 29th, 2025 committee of the whole meeting minutes. Are there any corrections or changes? We have a motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Okay. Approved by council. Great. Correspondence is our next item, and we have a presentation from Susan Riddle, President and CEO of Visit Mountaineer Country Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to appear in front of you this evening. I've seen several of you already at least once today, so I hope I'm not repeating too many things. We're here for our update, try and provide more than one in-person update to our municipal and county partners throughout the year. The first one that you get is after our annual filings that are required by state code. That we've been in compliance with for a long time. But this time of the year, it's kind of fun because we have a lot of things going on, and so it tends to be kind of a general update. We just finished working with the city on their municipal conference. I think based on all the feedback we got, it was a smashing success, so kudos to the city of Morgantown. We appreciate the opportunity to work with you to make that happen. There are a lot of other things going on in our area. You've been hearing about this for a little while. We now have thousands of miles of gravel trails throughout, frankly, all of north central West Virginia at this stage of the game. And we're very fortunate that Morgantown acts as the hub to the hub and spoke in our area. So it's really the heart of a lot of what goes on, whether it be shopping, dining, events, and so on. So we will be holding our first inaugural Mountaineer Monster backpacking adventure. We're calling it a race, but it's a competition. It'll be held October 25th, and there are locations all throughout our area. There's more to come, but on each one of these items, this QR code will take you to more information. So please do check them out. We've been working with some representatives of the city and our other municipal partners. Wayfinding has been something that people have been talking about for a really, really long time. So we are dipping our toe into that deep pool of wayfinding to see what we can do to aid with really tourism-related wayfinding that will help benefit our communities as well, as far as people moving throughout our destinations. We'll be doing that in stages and in phases. And there'll be more to come on that, but anyone interested, please do let us know, and we'll keep you involved in those e-blasts that come out periodically as new information becomes available. Our Tourism Advancement Fund that the Mon County Commission makes available to us, so far, over the last several years, they've been dedicating $150,000 that we get to use to attract events. And in the past, the city of Morgantown also, when we had some PPP funds, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's where they came from. Yeah, right. But we've used those funds to attract and recruit events, similar to what we did when Joe brought to us the Great Race. And we're going to be trying to get that back again. We're going to do that so that they're an overnight guest instead of just a kind of a drive-by, literally a drive-by, right? But that fund's really helped us a lot over the years, and we use that for all over Montague County. It's not just specific to one area over another. Our arts and culture, we've now developed specialists. We found out that our audiences expect us not to just provide them the eat, stay, play, and shop that all CVBs provide, but they want to know that we are specializing in some things. So we've specialized in the gravel opportunities for that outdoor adventure, as well as we have an arts and culture specialist now. Actually, I just came from the organizational arts grant reception that is provided based on the funds that the city provides and the county also matches. And it's been over $1.3 million that's been granted over several years. So a thriving arts community and historical venues as part of our culture really help us engage with the people that come here. Because we know no one gets up in the morning and says they're coming to the greater Morgantown area on vacation. They don't tend to do that. But what we do is we focus on one more night, one more dollar. So they're here for various and sundry reasons, whether it's a relationship with an entity that's already here, such as whether it be a WVU or a school system or a major employer like Mountain State Beverage or whatever. But we get them, and family and leisure travelers we have as well. We're always focusing on here's something else you can do and here's something else you might be interested in. So our arts and culture initiative is going very well. We were thankful to work with the city and our businesses here. We have more Mountaineer Deal partners concentrated in the city of Morgantown, particularly in the downtown, than any one other area that we serve. And we used those deal partners heavily for our Geo Woodstock that came in over Memorial Day weekend. And I don't know if anyone was here and saw them, but we had lines out of various and sundry businesses, and our businesses have asked us to do that again. We cannot bring back Geo Woodstock. That's an international event that only happens so many years, every so many years. But the individual that's doing the geocaching, Mark Webb, he is working with us, and we're going to be bringing back more geocaching, which is a great fit for our destination as a whole. There's over 2,000 geocaches just in Montague County alone. Who would have thunk, right? So there's a lot there to do, and we're also working those into our school systems as we continue to do our Leave No Trace education with our fifth graders. Last but not least, our West Virginia Governor's Conference on Tourism. It starts September 29th and ends October 1st. It will be here at the Marriott in Morgantown. This is kind of a big deal. There are only a few places in the state of West Virginia that are able to host the Governor's Conference, and we're one of the few. So we had them about 3 years ago, so we have them back again. And what's really special about this is they said they wanted to come to Morgantown in the fall. Normally their conference starts on the weekend. Well, we kind of are a little bit stacked up on weekends, so we were able to get them to move to a weekday conference starting on Sunday. That is a huge benefit to our lodging partners because these attendees do not just use the Marriott. They use they go to the Hotel Morgan, and they'll go to other properties here locally. And last but not least, we started something new. We have a podcast. It's called The Pulse. It's getting great feedback and a lot of traction. So if you are inclined to listen to podcasts, we're featuring a lot of our local tourism partners in various and sundry locations. If you have a suggestion for a topic, please let us know. Anything you send to the CBB at info@Visit Mountaineer Country, it goes to the entire team, and everyone gets to lay eyes on it, and then your responses are usually 24 hours, if not sooner. So with that, we thank you very much. I do ask everyone, our Broncos are part of our brand. Please carry this. Anytime you happen to see it, think of it. If you have people that have events, are looking for Mountaineer deals as far as engagement, or want to involve the CBB, think of us, and please send us your information. We're only as good as the information that we receive. And our events calendar hasn't crashed in a long time, but it is highly utilized. So we thank you very much for having the opportunity to be your official tourism organization. With that, that is the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you very much.
Does anyone have any questions for Susan? She's already
Susan,
trying
I
to
worked the Geo when they were here,
Yes.
and let me tell you, I have to say I was impressed.
I was impressed with
We
that.
just had no idea because they before had asked to use the mountain layer, and I was working. I ended up doing traffic control because there were so many people. Vermont, Alaska, you name it.
I think he had 19 countries
Yeah.
represented.
Yeah, I was just
There
gonna
was
say
over 5,500 registered participants. That does not include the people that came along with someone who was
Right.
participating. We still have coins at the office. We did a, what do they call it, a challenge coin. And we did something called Country Roads Challenge.
Yeah.
And these people were nuts, and it had rained right, slightly.
Oh, no, it was
before.
beautiful that evening. Oh, it
Well,
was gorgeous. Yeah, but you're right, the storm was before.
We had
the day
people
before.
coming in with their cards covered in mud, blood, you name it. They were all over the place, and they were the nicest people.
Yeah.
Absolute nicest people. They said they couldn't have been, they were very, very impressed, and I mean, I wish every event that we had was this much of a success.
Yeah.
I mean, I would bring them all back tomorrow, all over again, for all the work that was involved.
I agree,
It was terrific.
that was such, I mean, the compliments we got for the beautiful campus,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and the friendliness, and everybody was friendly. I mean, I was walking around, because they would look for like numbers, so I'm like, okay, I know where area 6, let's go over there, and that way you take your picture. So it was really fun, and
Yeah.
what an event, and that was just something else.
Yeah, we hope, I don't know what Mark's going to come up with next time. This was not an event that we planned.
Uh-huh.
This was something that we helped him recruit.
Mm-hmm.
He came to us with a plan, and we worked him in with all of our partners. The public relations on this particular event was a real challenge.
Yeah.
Because they were going to be everywhere, and we did have a few that had the police called on them because people thought that they were either exchanging illegal substances, that they were going in and out of things, or they were in places
Yeah.
they weren't supposed to be. But they all had a great sense of humor, and
Yeah.
several of them tried to get us to do raffles on our Broncos, and I'm like, no, you can take pictures, but they're not being raffled. So, no, it was great.
Yeah.
We were wonderful. Thank you for
Well,
your support.
congratulations, because that was just, like I said, what an event.
Yeah,
Incredible.
yeah, it was great. Yeah.
I was getting calls from downtown businesses like, where are all these people coming
Oh,
from?
yeah.
We did our best to get out to everybody, but everybody's busy. And other than, we did a lot of door-to-door. We hope to bring something like that back. It'll be much smaller scale, but it's very engaging, community
Yeah.
as well. And to get that kind of feedback from businesses where they ran out of product, particular restaurants, and then had to go restock, and they were happy about it, I mean,
Yeah.
that's like a grand slam. So, yeah, we'll be looking at more of those kinds of things as best we can.
Well,
But thank you.
congratulations. It was
Thank you
great.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Anything else for Susan?
Okay.
Thank you,
very
Susan.
much.
That was our only item of correspondence. We have no additional correspondence? That's correct. That brings us to our public hearing. First, we have an ordinance authorizing a right-of-way and easement release over lots 6, 7, and 8 of the plan of lots for Barnes and Bedonti in Morgan District. We will open this public hearing. This is only for anyone wishing to speak on this item alone. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close that public hearing and move on to our unfinished business. Item A, consideration of approval of second reading of an ordinance authorizing a right-of-way and easement release over lots 6, 7, and 8 of the plan of lots for Barnes and Bedonti, Morgan District. First reading, July 22nd, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. This ordinance would authorize the release of an existing right-of-way easement for a sewer utility held by the city. As previously discussed with council, this was a right-of-way condemned by the U.S. Government and then quitclaimed to the city in the 1940s and then 1950s. It is no longer needed for the sewer system because a different right-of-way has been dedicated to use by the utility board. Property owner is requesting that this easement be released so that the property can be transferred free of the lien.
Any questions for Attorney Simon? No? Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion. Seeing none, would you please call the roll?
Yes. Joe Bugan,
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Mark Downs,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull.
No. That passes 5-1. Brings us to our next unfinished business, boards and commissions. Is there anyone wishing to make a nomination for an appointment to a board or commission? All right, we will take those up at a later time. Brings us to our public portion. Subject to rules established by council, adopted by resolution. Generally, you come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and you are given 4 minutes to speak. Please no personal comments. The first person on the list, which is not required. Anyone who did not sign up can speak after those who did. The first person is Judith De La Garza.
Thank you for this opportunity to speak. My name is Judith De La Garza. I'm a county resident, 6003 Woodland Bluff Road, Morgantown, West Virginia, 26508. I'm sure because there is information under new business about the Morrow project, I'm sure that all of you have seen newspaper articles, heard many of the WAJR interviews, and have maybe seen Facebook posts about the Morrow high-voltage transmission line project that is being proposed by NextEra Energy. And I think we need to consider what this is going to do, because you as individuals, the city of Morgantown, and all West Virginia ratepayers will be subsidizing this project. For 40 years, we will be subsidizing this estimated $440 million project. And the estimates of potential return, NextEra, I think, is being a little cagey about their numbers. Granted, this is still hypothetical as to what may come in, but they're saying, oh, Mon County will get $100 to $200 million. My concern is that is a pittance when you look at what will happen to our West Virginia residents, our businesses, the land they will take, the home value and land prices that will be affected, and just the overall beauty of our state is going to be demolished. I don't know if you all have seen some of the information. These towers are projected to be 160 to 200 feet tall. That is as tall as the Marriott Hotel downtown. These will be above the treetops. The expanse underneath, the right-of-way underneath, is 200 feet. That is the equivalent of 16 lanes of highway. Several of the proposed paths will cross our Cheat Lake further from the dam than the current transmission lines. It will cross the backwaters where many, many boaters anchor and swim. This is one of the proposed routes. And this proposed route will also come up the side of Cheat Lake before it meanders off up into Preston County, Hampshire County, Mineral County, not to mention the fact that the Valley Link will affect Jefferson County residents. And why? Because Virginia has passed ordinances, laws, whatever, for their clean energy, so they don't have enough energy. And in addition, they are allowing all of these data centers to be built in Northern Virginia. That is the reason we need more energy. Energy requirements have basically been stable until about 3 or 4 years ago when all of these data centers started popping up. So West Virginia is being asked to bear the burden of Virginia's mistakes. They want us to give up our property, suffer a reduction in the value of our homes and lands, destroy the beauty of our West Virginia mountains, suffer economic losses to our livelihoods. The farmers we have up in Preston County, the organic farmers, the seed and tree farms. I mean, it's just and tourism. People come from out of state for the beauty, the solitude, the serenity. I am respectfully asking that you all pass a resolution of opposition. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the list is Annie Kernan York.
Annie Cronin, York Human Rights Commission. Firstly, I'd like to give an update on the camping ban enforcement numbers, because I've heard a lot of people talking about the number of people who are being criminalized for being homeless and being arrested for being homeless. So as of 9:45 this morning, from the beginning of the enforcement of the ban, Morgantown Police Department has issued 11 written warnings and 2 citations. No one has accepted offers of shelter or any other service from the officers or social worker. Of the 2 issued citations, one person pled guilty in court, and the other failed to appear and fled the jurisdiction. Those 2 people count for 4 of the 11 issued citations. Morgantown Police Department has not charged anyone with the 3rd offense, nor has it made any physical arrest under the ordinance. Nobody has been arrested for being homeless, or whatever that's worth. And I am under the understanding that council is looking to change the ordinance to be amended in some way. And I do not discourage that, but from all I hear about the number of people who are being jailed for being poor, it is probably happening in a lot of places. It hasn't happened here. My next issue is with the resolutions that are on the agenda for tonight. Generally speaking, I've only been coming for a couple of years, but I thought that these things were brought up at committee of the whole meetings and that both sides got to speak, or that the people making the demand would make a presentation so everybody could make fun of them and ask questions, sort of thing. But it looks like City Council has made resolutions that they'll be passing tonight without any input from the people. And part of the human rights, am I wrong? Are you not voting on it tonight? Because if you're not, that's cool. If you are voting on it tonight, that is my concern, is that it kind of goes in the face of having open government and public participation therein. If not both sides are heard and people don't have a chance to have their input, the person who spoke ahead of me had her input. I do not disagree with her. In fact, I agree with her. But still, we don't want to be setting a precedent where resolutions are just popped onto the agenda and here they are, and the city of Morgantown is taking a position on the situation in Ukraine, perhaps. I'm sure that we go the right way on the situation in Ukraine. I have faith in the city to do the right thing. But part of doing the right thing is having people speak to both sides. And hopefully that will happen. I looked up the Mid-Atlantic pipeline. I don't see any place where they've got drawings of their own put up. They have not applied to the Public Service Commission to have a hearing or to get permits. And there's no rush on this, so I hope that it will be open for public discussion and not just put through as a position, leaving the precedent for us to take positions on whatever we think of. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Hi, Stephanie Hunt, 220 Front Street. I just wanted to discuss the approval for a resolution opposing the Mid-Atlantic project. First off, thanks for putting this on the agenda and choosing to take a stance. West Virginia has a really long history of being exploited by out-of-state interests for our land and resources, and I, along with many who couldn't be here tonight, strongly urge the City Council to approve the resolution opposing it. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak? Seeing none, we will close our public portion. We have no special committee reports. Brings us to our consent agenda. Council considers the consent agenda as a whole. I will read each item on the consent agenda, and if there is any item that any member of council wishes to pull from the consent agenda, we will take that up separately. Item A, consideration of approval of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget revision for the Morgantown General Fund, revision number 2. Item B, consideration of approval of a resolution amending the fiscal year 2025-2026 budget revision for the Morgantown Capital Escrow Fund, revision number 1. Item C, Consideration of approval or resolution authorizing grant award CIMO 0582026 from the State of West Virginia Division of Multimodal Transportation Facilities. Item D, consideration of approval of a resolution approving grant award CIMO 057-2026 from the State of West Virginia Division of Multimodal Transportation Facilities. And item E, request for exemption from vacant structure registration for 71 Donley Street. Is there anyone wishing to pull any of these items from the consent agenda? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thanks. Christine, would you please call the roll?
Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Mark Downs,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull.
Yes. Passes 6-0. Brings us into new business. First, item A, consideration of approval of a resolution for award of contract to Mountaineer Infrastructure for the runway 18-36 Phase 5 construction.
Thank you, Mayor. Director Rabel will be presenting this item today.
Good evening. Hope you had a great vacation.
I did. It was wonderful.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you. In front of you tonight is the approval of resolution for award of contract to Mountaineer Infrastructure. We did bids back in April of this year, and Mountaineer was the lowest bidder. So we bid a base bid plus alternate bids. They were the lowest bidder of the base bid and all of the alternates added together. So we've put together this contract for your consideration to approve. The contractor is looking at starting construction in October, end of October this year. This will be for Phase 5. It'll be about a 340-day construction timeframe.
Phase 5 of how many anticipated phases now?
Well, 5 years ago, it was 5 phases.
That's
We're looking somewhere between 8 and 10 at this point because of the way the funding has rolled in.
Okay. Other questions for Director Vrabel? Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Move to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none?
Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Mark Downs,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher,
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull.
Yes. Passes 6-0. Item B under new business, consideration of approval of first reading of an ordinance authorizing a supplemental agreement to real estate contract number DTFAE-06-L-00064 with the Federal Aviation Administration.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the item that was briefly presented at the Committee of the Whole meeting regarding our navigational equipment. Director Rabel is here to answer any questions, or if you'd like him to present on this item again.
Basically what this contract is an extension of a previous contract that was written in 2005. So it expires at the end of September of this year. The FAA is asking us to renew that for another 20 years. Basically what this does, it gives them permission to use our property to have their nav aids for our aircraft that are arriving and departing our airport. So it allows them to have those nav aids, maintain those nav aids, and provide the utilities to them that are needed for their operation.
And this is a no-cost agreement, correct?
That is correct. There's no cost to us. In fact, we actually do make a little money, not from this particular agreement, but from a supplemental agreement we have where we do maintenance of the land around their navigational facilities for them.
Other questions for Director Vrabel? Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Is there a motion for this item?
Move to approve?
Thank you.
A second.
Thank you. Discussion? Discussed a little at the last meeting. Seeing none? Christine?
Yes. Joe Buganim,
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead,
Yes.
Weezy Michael,
Yes.
Mark Downs?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull?
Yes. Passes 6-0. Brings us to item C of new business. Consideration of approval of a resolution in support of legislation to assist disabled coal miners.
Thank you, Mayor. I will turn this item over to Deputy Mayor Butcher, who had requested this resolution be put on the agenda with the support of 2 additional council members as required by our regulations.
Sure. I think we had first had this resolution sent to us from a policy advocate at the Appalachian Citizens Law Center. I actually saw him on Friday. And he said that there's been, I think, 17 other municipalities in the state that have passed similar resolutions. It would be us joining with other municipalities to ask that black lung benefits aren't cut for disabled coal miners is essentially what the resolution would be asking, and to increase that amount as well. When adjusted for inflation, it's like 30% less. And, you know, just for those who kind of gave their lives to the mines to support them through the Black Lung Fund. That's essentially all it's for. Yeah.
Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
How do we address the public comments that were made? Because I'm asking because I don't know from a procedural standpoint, so I don't mind, stepping out and asking that question.
I would say there were 6 other items that were resolutions that weren't on a committee of the whole that were presented tonight that were all passed just now. We did allow public comment just now. 2 people commented on, well, 3 people commented on the resolutions. That is their opportunity. But yeah, I mean, we often have resolutions that come up. I feel as if the amendments to the general fund are probably more impactful than this, that come up and are not necessarily discussed at committee of the whole. Committee of the whole is a step that we take that's a little bit more transparent probably than other well, not probably, a lot of other councils in the state, at least that I've seen, don't even have that kind of meeting. It's more for us to try to be more open. I could certainly take the point that it'd be good to have more meatier committee of the wholes, I think, with like more of the stuff that we're talking about, trying to come forward, but anyway.
Yeah. That's fine.
I feel like that answers the question.
I mean, I think so. And Ryan, do you have anything you want to, any guidance you can offer to address my question?
I think Deputy Mayor Butcher described it well. City Council many years ago established a committee of the whole meeting in addition to its regular meetings that council generally uses as a planning meeting, and it often uses that meeting to hear presentations and also to consider whether to place items, usually ordinances, on its regular agenda as business items. There are certainly no legal requirements that prevent passing resolutions on one reading. In fact, that's generally the difference between resolutions and ordinances, that a resolution can be brought up and passed on one.
I would like to see subjects like the mall, for example. That's an incredibly important issue, and I think we could all agree this is going to affect the county and the city. I personally would like to see this one particularly brought to a committee of the whole, and because I do think it's a huge issue, and it does affect our state, and I think it affects our city because I believe all of our energy bills are going to skyrocket. I have family in Davis that are dealing with the data center that's going there, and I just personally believe and would like to be more involved in these resolutions that I feel are going to be big issues for everybody in the county and the city, that maybe a committee of the whole would be better, just so the public could come in, more of the public could come in. And I believe that there's going to be a public service in the fall for this issue.
My understanding was there was already one, is that correct?
I'm sorry, what?
A public service hearing, right?
Yeah, I
There's already one.
think, my understanding
And there's another one scheduled or something?
for the fall. But of course, I absolutely support this issue. And the coal miners, I just would like to have a little bit more input prior.
I believe this was an item that the county commission asked other elected bodies to take up. And my apologies, I was not at the agenda-setting meeting this time. I was participating in municipal league events. But, yeah, it was my understanding that from what I saw of a county commission meeting, the county commission asked other elected bodies to take up this resolution that they had passed. Is that correct?
Right, that's correct.
Yeah, as one of the counselors that agreed with these items being, brought forward in support of the resolution and supported the resolutions, I'm happy to see them on the agenda. I do wonder, though, if there doesn't need to be such a sense of urgency and we're not maybe missing an opportunity to...
I think to raise awareness, it'd be fine to maybe, Ryan, I would say procedurally, we would probably table the, we can't really take a vote. Can we request a second vote? Is that okay?
Certainly, you could just move this item to your next agenda,
Okay. So we could do a vote to move it to the next agenda after we discuss each.
if you would like to.
And I think that's fair enough to raise awareness. I would say, like, when these items come up, I think everybody's open to feedback about them, and we should ensure that we make these meetings places that we discuss these things and have healthy and open debate, not have it somewhere else. But, yeah.
I totally agree with that sentiment. I don't think that historically that there's been enough of that in these meetings, and I think we would all benefit, our city would benefit by it. So, thank you.
So if you would like this on a committee of the whole agenda, that would be the end of September.
Yeah, we
don't have a committee of the whole.
Yeah, this month.
We
Just
pushed
to
our
ask-
meetings back a
Yeah.
week because of the
And
municipal league
To
activities
ask
last
your
week.
opinion, a resolution would have passed on 2 meetings anyway, right? So if we
Right.
just did a second vote on the second one, it's kind of serving the same purpose.
Yeah,
Would you
it's
feel
serving
that
the
way?
same. I mean, I think we can all agree that we're all going to be in favor of the MAR because it's a very important issue. I would like more public, I'd like the public to know more about this issue. I know personally, I follow this issue through the Senate, like the House and the Senate bills, because at some point, this is going to affect all of us. And they're going to try to bring data centers here.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you like me to ask for someone to come and speak during the correspondence part of the next meeting?
Yeah, that would
I don't
be-
know who
yeah, we
I
could
will
do
even
that.
reach out to, but I had some community members who are hosting meetings who brought me literature to hand out at the Municipal League Conference that I can probably reach out to see if they wanted to come and speak during
Yeah.
our next meeting.
That's fine with me. I just, like I said, I think this is an incredibly important issue, and in the future, it's going to affect us all. And our legislation in Charleston, is pushing this through so quickly. But, yeah, I definitely would like that, but, I mean, I'm fine with the vote for today, the resolution. I don't want to wait till September, but...
So we're okay to vote on these items today, and we will still ask for a presentation
Yeah.
for public awareness at our next meeting.
That sounds great. That's- yeah.
Okay. So the resolution in
But
support...
specifically on the Morrow Link, right?
Right.
Right, and
So right now, we are still on a resolution in support of legislation to assist disabled coal miners. We had a motion and a second on this item. Is there other discussion on the resolution in support of legislation to assist disabled coal miners?
Call the question.
Christine?
Joe Buganim?
Yes?
Jody Hollingshead?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Mark Downs?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull?
Yes, passes 6-0. Item D, though we've already discussed, consideration of approval of a resolution opposing the sitting or construction of the Mid-Atlantic Link project.
I'll move to approve.
No. Second.
That was another Counselor Butcher with additional folks to add to the agenda. Is there anything you would like to say that Weeze hasn't already said?
Well, I think we put it well. I think our speaker also put it very well earlier. A lot of the things that I would say are reasons that I would oppose this is similar. Obviously, this is outside of the city, but it's more in support of the county's effort to try to oppose it and our surrounding counties to oppose it. I've heard from lots of concerned neighbors about this project. I think everybody knows. But, yeah, what I would say is if we are looking for speakers, maybe Kathy Kunkel would be willing to come up since she came to that other community meeting and she has expertise on it. But yeah,
It would be, nice to invite either side if there's,
yeah, especially if there's people. I've never heard anybody in support of it.
Well, they may be.
Yeah,
Somebody's pushing it.
Like to hear the argument, for sure.
Right, so bring them out of the shadows.
Yeah,
I
for
don't
sure.
know, But,
The county commission did recently have a work session on this, and they came and spoke to them. I think it may be the company, was it Next Era? Who
That's right.
actually
That's who
came and
spoke to
spoke.
them.
I can certainly, if you want factual,
Yeah, I'd like to hear the other.
we can
side.
bring them out. I think that having either side speaking for or against is getting into a lot of, I think, factual is probably
Yes,
good.
exactly.
And then public is able to speak their mind during the public portion.
Right.
But it is an important issue. It's obviously going to affect our constituents, and, we just heard from Susan Riddle and the CVB, the state's beauty is one of our greatest assets. And, how many times have you met someone who's been in town because they've been hiking at Cooper's Rock or, using the rail trail or any of our amenities that are outside of city limits, but they're staying at the Hotel Morgan or they're staying at the Marriott. So it impacts us.
Other discussion? We had a motion. We had a second also?
Yeah.
Okay. Christine?
Joe Buganim?
Yes.
Jody Hollingshead?
Yes.
Weezy Michael?
Yes.
Mark Downs?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Butcher?
Yes.
Mayor Trumbull?
Yes. Passes 6-0. City Manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of brief items today. I wanted to start by thanking Council for all the support and certainly staff for all the hard work that went into the successful West Virginia Municipal League conference last week. It was quite an event, and I know a lot of work went into that, so I thank everybody who was involved and supported that. The replacement of the parking garage equipment at the Spruce Street parking garage has been in process for a while. Today is the first day that the new equipment has gone live. So the parking authority is working through changing out the access cards for those who have permits for that. If you all hear any concerns, please feel free to pass those along to us so that we can have staff reach out and directly contact anybody with concerns. This week, our fire department has been hosting a tri-county training which included our county as well as Marion and Harrison County, and it is on the topic of rope rescue. This is part of a 6-discipline training that will enhance the region's awareness, operations, and technician levels. And so the topics have include confined space rescue, auto extraction, hazmat, trench rescue, swift water rescue, and the rope rescue training that we are hosting this week. This is part of a grant, and each community is going to host a different training. I really wanted to highlight this because I want to recognize the regionalism that the department is taking in this approach, as well as anytime our staff is working to enhance their professional development. So extremely proud of the work that's gone into that training this week. This I think I mentioned, but it is funded through a grant program. Walnut Streetscape, we have been told by the contractors that they will be back on site in the next week or so to continue to work on the streetscape project, so we look forward to seeing that action move forward. And then on North Street, the final paving of that project on that site has began yesterday, and we anticipate striping next week pending weather. That completes my report today.
Thank you. Any questions for city manager? Report from the city clerk.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like the city manager did, say kudos to the city for a great city host night. Had lots of compliments on our city about how nice it was down at the amphitheater. I want to thank personally Susan Biddle and her sales director, Tammy Wood, for all their help, meeting with us multiple times, their sponsorship. Thank you. And then our staff, we had many hands on the planning of the Municipal League Council and planning the mobile workshop and the walking tour. So we couldn't have done it with all of the hands that were in collaborating to get that done. So thank you all very much for that. The Police Civil Service Commission met this week to certify candidates for police officer. So candidates who are certified will move forward in the hiring process. So that means having interviews with the administration. The next entry-level exam is Saturday, October 18th. Our application is online, as it always is. If folks have questions, they can certainly reach out to the clerk's office for help in completing those applications. The Fire Civil Service Commission will be holding interviews in the near future for those fire candidates who pass the agility and written exams, so that's coming up soon. I had the pleasure of, Nikki and I had the pleasure of performing the oath of office for Fire Lieutenant Derek Porter, who was just promoted to lieutenant. So he has almost 19 years of service here with the fire department, so we want to say congratulations to Derek Porter for his service and his devotion to our city. I'm still working with the county and setting a date to do a city-county meeting between you all and the county commission, so thank you for those of you who have also been poking at them too to get that done. So when Renetta reaches back out to me, I'll make sure that I keep everyone in the loop. And then lastly, I've been doing some in the background, but we want to plan a driving tour of the city with all of you. We did it a few years ago, and folks really liked it, so we're working on planning that as well. Take you to the airport and our departments and give you all a tour. Again, let you speak with the department heads and things like that. So that's coming up. And that concludes my report.
Report from the city attorney.
Thank you, Mayor. Following on City Council's consideration of the vacant structure exemption request this evening, I'll be preparing draft orders for your consideration and also providing council with some follow-up information on the enabling legislation, current ordinance, and council meeting procedures for your consideration, along with some options you can consider to update those as you might see fit. That's all I have to report this evening.
Thank you. Report from council members. Counselor Abukana, would you like to go first?
Sure. Thank you first to our city manager for doing a walk with me of our neighborhood today. I appreciated that opportunity, although it got way too hot towards the end. We have Halloween that we're planning for with our neighborhood association. I don't have the neighborhood date in front of me at the moment. It is coming up though for our next meeting. The Morgantown High Wrestling Team is hosting their annual bingo fundraiser for anybody looking to win wonderful prizes. And that will be announced later, probably tomorrow, I do believe. Thank you for all the work that was put in for the National League of Cities. I know that is a massive undertaking, and everybody involved really made our city look absolutely wonderful, and I was very proud to be a resident here, and all the hardworking people that are here and part of it. And I guess in that same vein, congratulations to Councilor Michael on being put on the board for the the West Virginia Municipal League of Cities. And I believe that is my report. That's the word.
All right, Counselor Michael.
First off, I'll start with the National Board. I wanted to thank Jenny, but she's not here, for nominating me. I take that. It was nice, and it was an honor for her to ask me, and I look forward to that. I'd like to talk about North Street and say thank you to our Public Works and our contractors, Parada. It's looking good, and the project, I think, wrapped up today. So I'm very happy about that. So a lot of neighbors are too. We are in discussions with Caitlin Lewis for a block party in our ward, somewhere hopefully toward the end of September. Looking forward to getting that together. And then lastly, I'll end with, I wanted to say thank you to all the volunteers that helped me this year with our community cleanups. I estimate there was around 100 volunteers to 120 volunteers that joined me throughout the summer. And I want to give a special thank you to Joe, Earl, and Scott from the Department of Highways, Tom Bloom and the County Commission, Mayor Doyle, and Mayor Patty Lewis for having faith in me and trusting me to put together some projects to clean up our city. I like this. I think it's wonderful, and I'm so proud of this city I live in, and I've been here for around 40 years. And I like that our city, from all exits, looks good coming in, and I'm really proud of this program that we've all done. And lastly, I want to thank Kyle Cole from Labor Union 379 and all the men and women that came out and cleaned the medians and dug the ditches and cleaned all these drains, weed-eated embankments. I'm just so proud of them all. So I think next year's going to be good. This year was a test run, and I have a vision for next year. And I also want to thank our Public Works. I do not want to forget them. And all the Public Works of Star City and the other municipalities and county that loaned us equipment and assisted us in safety. And I feel like I'm forgetting more people, but also I want to thank Morgantown PD, West Virginia University PD, for looking after our safety when we had so many people in the middle of the medians and on the side of the road cleaning. So next year is going to be good. I look very forward to continuing this for years to come. So thank you, everyone, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilor Hollingshead.
Yeah, I'm going to mention the conference just one more time. It was my first professional development experience as a city council person, and what a privilege it was to attend. And I'm actually really glad because there's some things coinciding tonight, because as I sat in some of those sessions, conferences are conferences, and it became clear how easy it could be to lose sight of why we ran for office. and get caught up in the red tape and the details and the processes, which are all necessary and important, absolutely. But I ran for office to improve the life of the people in Morgantown and connect them to the city in new and different ways to encourage their engagement and involvement. And several times tonight, even in our special meeting, and thank you for the comment about public input, communication has come up several times just tonight on several different issues. And I think that that is something that I would like to focus on, communicating in ways that actually reach people, communicating in ways that are interesting, maybe even fun, and meeting people where they are, making sure they're getting the information that they need. So over the next several weeks, I've reached out to a couple people. I'm going to be brainstorming with our communications department. I'm going to talk with Jamie to connect the people to the city in a way that feels clear and accessible and not at all intimidating, so that they can have, they obviously always have the opportunity to appear at the meetings, but there's obviously a missing link here. And I'd like to brainstorm and figure out what that is and how we can invite the public in different ways to come and speak to us and speak their mind on these different issues. So I'm excited for that, and stay tuned. Oh, one more thing. I went to the South Park, the SPAN meeting, South Park Association Neighbors, a couple weeks ago. And to be totally transparent, SPAN is undergoing a bit of an evolution. And so I asked that the neighborhood do be patient with us as we sort of figure out what the next steps are. But we are having the big SPAN super sale on Saturday, August 23rd, starting at 8 a.m. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. My email is on the city's website. And you can also connect with us on Instagram and Facebook. So, thank you.
Appreciate those comments, Jody, and the work that you're talking about doing. It's super important. We appreciate the work that you're leading, cleaning up. It's also important. Councilor Trumbull throws herself, Mayor Trumbull throws herself into that quite extensively as well. Thank you. Use and civic pride are the antidote to despair and apathy. So the better our community looks, the more proud we are of it. So, and we lead by example, right? So, on Saturday we did a mural dedication on South High Street for a massive, almost 7,000 square foot mural that serves as a gateway to our downtown. It's awesome. There was a huge turnout. It was a fantastic event. I want to thank the county commission for their funding. They funded half the expense for the mural. The YCF and Fairmont State University are the other funders. Appreciate them. Artist Joel Dugan from Fairmont State was the artist. He spent a hot month on that wall in a 60-foot lift, painting without a template or, but just from memory. And the community's very blessed to have someone of his talent. The Municipal League was fun. It was a great opportunity to network and team build. Appreciate that. Emily, Assistant City Manager Mazzarelli, Councilor Celine and I led a walking tour through the riverfront with participants from a couple of cities, and they were just blown away with both our amenities and our forward thinking in terms of development and collaboration and the tools that we were looking at and the relationships we were building. So, and our ambassador program really shined through. So that was a really a great opportunity for us to take stock of the work that has been going on and is going to continue to go on. I had a chance to meet with a hospitality group out of Cleveland today. It was unscheduled, just one of those things that popped up, and someone called and said, "Hey, these people are here, can you run down here and meet with them?" And I walked them from one end of High Street to the next and down into the wharf, and yeah, they were blown away. And again, just another opportunity to take stock of the opportunities that we have in front of us. And again, Jody, the reason that we did this, right, so we can make our community and our city the best that it can be. I continue to be encouraged by all of those opportunities. In fact, along with Main Street Morgantown and others, I'll be helping to lead an opportunity tour on August 27th through downtown, ending at the amphitheater the evening of August 27th. And we'll be talking about things that are happening, comings and goings in our downtown, properties that are available, businesses that are opening, etc. So the tour will end at the amphitheater for a business after hours. So there'll be music and cocktails and a reception. Please feel free to join. A couple of board-related things. I wasn't able to attend the MUB meeting tonight because I'm here. We'll see how it goes. Due diligence regarding the Star City Sewer and Water was on the agenda, and the associated asset purchase agreement. So we'll see how that turns out. Obviously, that'll come, if it's approved, it'll come to council for consideration. Work on the road to repair the sewer line on Deckers Creek continues. It looks to be progressing nicely, although as nicely as driving a dump truck straight up and down a cliff can go. But the parking authority meets in September. Thanks for bringing up the new amenities in the parking garage. I also want to mention that the parking authority received almost $1,500 grant this week to install an EV charger. It's something that I started working on prior to being on council with Adam Manier. You know, Adam is passionate about EVs. It was appalling when he showed me how the lack of charging stations that we have available to us in Morgantown. He's funded the one at the farmer's market personally. So he's been working with Dana, and Dana's bought in, the parking authority's bought in. So we received that grant. That'll likely go into one of the surface lots. Speaking of the surface lots, Lot C on Spruce and Pleasant should be substantially completed, I understand, by August 18th. But there was a bit of skepticism about that date. Thank you, I assume, although you've never come out and said it officially, Jamie, but I assume that staff had something to do with opening parking back up on Walnut Street. And
Public Works team.
Appreciated, much appreciated. Several of us have complained and served as kind of the torchbearers for those businesses in asking for help, and it was greatly appreciated. Last thing for me is I've got MMMPO on the 21st. And, traffic study is kind of the thing I'm most interested in.
Thank you. Two things I want to mention off the top. I wanted to thank Jamie, the city manager. I would assume as well that staff had something to do with this, but I brought up to Jamie, I'm sure you guys have seen those squares up too. And I wanted to mention Walnut Street as well. I appreciate seeing the parking open there. You can go get your Zeke's breakfast at Blue Moose right now. And Monarca is back open, I understand. I saw some daily specials that looked really good. So park and get some of that, and then go shop at Hoot and Howl across the street. So the final thing I wanted to mention, and there was a story in West Virginia Watch. This isn't necessarily related to council, but this is just one of the bigger platforms I have, so I guess I'm going to talk about it here. The hotel program that I've talked about running for about 3 years now, that we use to put people in shelter, most especially during winter months. It's mostly used as a stopgap and largely for women with children. It's always women with children. It's never men with children, just as an aside, that we take in. And so we've done 795 nights in shelter for the past 3 years, serving about 1,100 people over that time, and provided 1,100 meals. And that program, we have about $1,000 left in the bank, and that will be the end of it, unless we can find alternative funding. The funding that was provided for it was from the Emergency Food and Shelter Grant. Danielle had sat on a committee to help decide where those funds go before, with the United Way. So yeah, that grant funding is completely frozen by the current administration. We'll be looking for other funding, but as of now, and it kind of morphed into a year-long program. As of now, it doesn't look like we'll have funding. Please write your congressman and ask them and tell them about these specific programs that are filling gaps in the community that need. I mean, this is maybe the smallest slice possible of that funding. We operate on like $19,000 a year or something. So like there's programs that are much bigger than that that are not being funded right now that are probably in crisis. So just want to bring attention to that, and then I'll conclude my report.
On such a happy note.
I know.
Yeah, funding crises are hitting a lot of nonprofits around. I know when someone shows up at H3 and there is not a shelter bed available because our 19-bed shelter is constantly full, I would frequently call Deputy Mayor Butcher and say, what can we do to help this person? And it was always, well, you know, it's an elderly lady with medical condition, we can get her into a hotel room, or this lady has children with her, we can get her into a hotel room. So I don't know what we will do with some of those folks when that funding is gone. I also sit in on a meeting every quarter with Mon County Food Insecurity, and a lot of those organizations that provide food to people around the county are significantly hurting, looking at ways to combine resources and maybe cut down some overlap, but there are a lot of nonprofits who are scrambling right now, and we're not sure. When need seems to be at an all-time high and funding is at a pretty close to all-time low, we're looking for some creative solutions. I wanted to say congratulations to Lieutenant Porter. I'm so happy for Derek that he was promoted to lieutenant. I know he's excited. That's something he's been looking forward to for a long time. So congratulations to him. Beating the dead horse around here, but thank you to city staff and the staff of the CVB for working so hard on the Municipal League being in town. I was privileged to be part of planning for the host city reception, and I think that really came together well. We heard only nice things. Dr. Benson of WVU stopped by for an hour or so and had the opportunity to meet with leaders from around the state, and we did a little bit of entertaining for him. So it was a great event. And then I had the opportunity also to participate in the conference a little more than previous years. I gave a welcome speech, but also did a mobile tour. When the Municipal League Conference was in town 3 years ago, I led a workshop on the H3 model and brought in some of the representatives of some of the organizations like Lauren's Wish and United Way. At that time, we did a workshop on site. Several of the mayors asked me if I could take them up to the facility, and I drove them all in my car. So this year I was asked to do a mobile tour, and thanks to the Mountain Line, we were able to provide transportation for folks to go up and visit some of the nonprofits up there. And it's an ever-changing model, but it is something that a lot of people throughout the state seem to be interested in. So we're constantly a work in progress. The only thing I will say is the Woodburn neighborhood will have our community picnic on Thursday, August 21st, making sure I had that date right. Thursday, August 21st from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Woodburn Community Complex or the Woodburn Playground. That is always done in conjunction with one of the Bow Park Sounds of Summer concerts. So that concert is from 6 to 8 p.m. It will be the Hillbilly Biscuits playing that one, always free. Anyone in the community who wants to come is certainly invited to participate in our picnic, and especially anyone on council or any city staff members who would like to come. I think that's all. Anything else for the good of the whole before we enter executive?
Mayor, if I may, I neglected to publicly thank Eureka Cafe for their fabulous food. I'm sorry. It was amazing. I know you all will agree, so I just want to say thank you to Eureka Cafe for hosting that, sponsoring and providing the food for our City Host Night.
Yes, Bow Park
really
and
nice.
Eureka provided the food and non-alcoholic beverages for the host reception, and we heard a lot of great things. And that was a big undertaking for them. Catering an event for 100 people is a lot for the
Yes.
little cafe, and I think that they did a great job. We were proud to have them and show them off. Would someone like to read us into executive session?
I would move that we move into executive session under West Virginia State Code, Section 6-9A-4B12, for legal advice regarding operations and procedures of city boards and commissions.
Second.
Thank you. We will take a few minutes worth of a break and then enter executive session.